Hello, everybody. My name is Amol Patel. You're watching the Smoking Hot Coffee Show, where we talk to startups and startup founders daily, Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, live. I'm joined with,
Hey guys, I'm Jeff Pelton down here in San Diego.
and so today we've got a couple of guys from At the Pool. We've got David and Alex, who's the CEO of At the Pool. And so At the Pool is a really great application that allows people to connect with other people that share the same interests in their same location. So Jeff, tell us more about At the Pool.
Yeah, so At the Pool right now is a website. It's a social network. Currently, you join using your Facebook Connect profile,
Yeah.
and it connects you with people. You basically join pools. You jump into pools that are your interests,
Right.
categories, things that you love,
Right.
and it will send you a daily email, an introduction email to someone else in your area with the same interests.
That's great.
Is
So
the
every
highest
day,
ranking.
every
Mhm.
day I'm going to get introduced to new people that share my interests in my area, the place that I'm staying. Is that right, Jeff?
Yeah, exactly. Those are, I think that's the highest on the algorithm. It goes down and does some other things, looks at your friends of friends and stuff. But
Okay.
primarily, it's helping connect you with people in your area with your same interests.
And I can tell you from my own experience on Twitter, on LinkedIn, for example, I have so many connections that I don't really know. I mean, they're acquaintances. They may have met them. I may have read something about them and connected with them, but I don't really know them, and I'm probably not going to get to know them. And so this is, in my opinion, a great service to really build a larger and deeper engagement with those people that are your virtual friends that you never really are friends. Right, Jeff?
This is still a big problem, right?
It's a huge problem.
We
It's a
spend so
massive
much
problem.
time online.
Yeah.
We're geeks and nerds, and we love sitting at our computer and all this stuff. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, we get glued to it. We forget to go outside and bump into other people that like live right around us instead of the people that are living in our Twitter stream.
Right.
So like I love the quote they have here on their homepage: "Technology brought us online. Isn't it time it took us off?"
Yeah.
And just I think that's the ethos is kind of this is an online tool to help get us offline,
And I have
to
to
enhance our real lives.
And I have to tell you, there are other companies out there that have grown very large. Meetup.com is a great example, but they're adding a whole other layer on top of Meetup. They're really being a lot more proactive and a lot more, a lot more of a concierge service, almost like for all these new people that are in their network that share your same interests. I don't get these daily emails from Meetup and all that kind of thing, and so I think that there's a big differentiator there. We had Alex talk very about some of their secret sauce. They're doing these daily emails. They're A/B split testing different titles and what they're writing in these emails. There's a tremendous amount of thinking that's been gone on to how to bring these
Yeah.
people on board, how to connect with them, how to reconnect with them, how to share. It's been really great. This was one
Yeah.
of the best interviews I've had in a long time. I think you're definitely going to learn a lot, right, Jeff?
Yeah, definitely. Some of the tips and practices they explained to us how they do their email marketing and split testing was really interesting to me because we hear about it all the time, but we don't always know the details of how it looks when you have a big enough audience to actually do this. They clearly have an audience now that they're sending tons of email to every day.
Yeah, and so
Uh,
I'm a big fan of email, as Jeff knows. I'm a huge fan of email, and these guys have nailed it. And they're sending out thousands of emails a day, probably hundreds of thousands. Who knows? He wouldn't tell us the user numbers. He's very, very cagey in that way, but very smart guy. He gave us a little bit about his background. The product itself looks really, really nice. I was really quite amazed at how far they've gotten with such a little team. They've got 4 guys. It's
Yeah, only
amazing.
4 people. They're really lean, really, working hard. They're all about product, which we love. I mean, I think this is a great example of really product driving the business. Unfortunately, there's no revenue model yet, but as they've said, with like attracting talent for their team and such, and even raising money, they found nothing more valuable than the product itself speaking for itself,
Yeah.
which I really love as a product manager in the trade. It's just nothing beats the product in your hand when you use it. And so we're also looking forward to their mobile app coming out pretty
Yeah,
soon.
yeah. I have to tell you, they're not huge fans of AngelList. In fact, they didn't really use AngelList to raise their money. He talked about how they got their funding. I think it's in the tune of $250,000, or not quarter, 750,000, almost a million. They've got a decent runway. They're keeping in their startup really lean, really focused, very small, very tight knit team here in Santa Monica. They're working out of one of their investors' offices. So I said,
That
well, that's a
sounds
great
like a
way.
good time to me.
And I was like, yeah, this is a great way for your investors to keep tabs on you, and he replied, it's a good way for us to keep tabs on each other. So it's a mutually beneficial relationship. I'm sure once they're growing and kicking ass, they're gonna go back to him and probably get some more money from him. I think it's an awesome idea to be working out of your investors' building. I think it's a great idea. So
what an opportunity.
especially if they don't interfere too much with their product and letting you build it how you need to, and which it seems like they are. So it's great. If you're a small startup and you want to see how a small team can execute and raise some money that you can and to really market themselves and to grow and become another Facebook or the next Facebook, at the pool, this interview with Alex and David is going to be really helpful. So I strongly recommend you check this out, and please forward this interview to your colleagues and your friends in the startup world or in the business world. We're looking for more subscribers on our YouTube channel and on iTunes. Definitely check out our 1 p.m. live stream. Jeff?
Yeah, if you learned anything from this interview, please pass it along to your friends, colleagues, friends, anyone else who might enjoy it or learn something from it themselves. And again, we're also trying to keep up with these shows a regular schedule, daily live. So check out the website, smokinghotcoffee.com, where you can see our schedule posted at the top, and join us live for the next show.
All right, so with that, let's cut to the interview. Tell us a little bit about your background, where you guys at, how big your team is, that kind of thing.
Sure. We launched the product about 7 or 8 months ago. So we're currently live. We've got the website up and running, just at thepool.com. We have members in over 90 countries. So it's been just growing well, doing great. We've got 4 people on the team. Lexus is one of our developers. Jason's our designer. David's doing biz dev, and then I'm just sort of focusing on all the CEO stuff.
CEO stuff. What exactly does that mean?
It means doing calls like this and whatever else these guys need me to do.
Gotcha. So you're not involved with the product design. You're just
I'm involved a little bit.
a little bit.
Whose idea was it for the product? Can you give us the inspiration real quick?
Yeah.
Tell us real quickly what the actual website does.
Yeah, so the point of At the Pool is to help you meet new people based on the pools you join. So if you join the surfing pool, you can meet people who go surfing, or join the biking pool to meet people into biking. And we launched this, the idea originally was about a year before we launched a website, and we just found it was really tough to meet people to do stuff with. I mean, if you want to find someone to play tennis or someone who's into vegan food or whatever you care about, it's surprisingly tough. And so we just wanted to build a product that solved our own problem, and found out that a lot of people also have, the same issues.
Gotcha. So are you saying it's hard to find people in your physical location that share your same interests? Is that the solution, your problem you're solving?
Right. The whole idea is introducing you to local people who share your interests. You can actually get offline and do these things.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Very
so
cool.
it's all based around your actual locality. You join your local neighborhood?
So you don't have to worry about any of the locale stuff, because we track your GPS, your location, and we serve up relevant matches based on where you are. So just let us know who you want to meet, whether it's photographers or runners or whatever. Gotcha. And then we'll use a lot of location technology to make that work.
Gotcha. Okay. Jeff and I talk a lot about marketplaces, about getting enough providers or suppliers, and just finding the balance between, all the factors to make sure that the database is there, the content is there. How are you guys? You guys are trying to match people all over the world. Are you guys just focusing on LA? How are you guys doing that?
So the way the platform works is you join the website, you connect with your Facebook, you join a bunch of pools, and then we actually serve up a daily introduction. So let's say you're in Los Angeles and you join the startup pool. What we do is we introduce you to one person a day. And the reality is 30 people a month and 365 people a year, it's not that many people. So, we have thousands of people in most of the cities, around different pools, that we start optimizing the introductions based on the right matches for you.
Okay.
And so it allows us to be virtually everywhere without needing that much of a critical mass.
Oh, interesting. Very cool. Okay. And David, tell us a little bit about your journey with the whole biz dev. What were the big challenges that you're facing trying to grow this platform?
Well, it's something we really want At the Pool to grow organically, so it's not something that we really want to force onto the members. Again, that daily matchup has been really great to help people just kind of get out there. It's not necessarily forced, but it's more so gets people together where they can find someone that likes to do similar things that they do, so it's a very easy icebreaker. So for example, I really like to surf, and sometimes I get matched up with people down here in LA that like to surf also. And I just moved down here a couple of months ago, so I'm still trying to build out my network as well.
Right.
And I've actually gone surfing with a few of the people from at the pool, and it's been a really great way to meet people and network. And so that's, I mean, one of the challenges is helping that organic growth to find the proper way to do that from a business development perspective. And it's working pretty well, staying up to date on social networks and all that. And I think people are really happy with the product so far.
Well, let me ask you this from a biz dev perspective. Are you reaching out to other larger sites, other startups, other sort of businesses that may have a large pool of people, that kind of thing? Or tell us, what do you mean by organic? Like,
Yeah, we're pretty well connected in the startup culture down here, and up in San Francisco as well. Alex has pretty big database of friends and connections in the startup world, so that's been a great resource. We've also been looking into different subgroups. For example, this Monday, we released a 10 new pools out for religious pools. So we had like a Judaism pool, an atheism pool, and fun ones like the Flying Spaghetti Monster pool.
okay.
And we had a lot of users really excited about that because it's another way for them to connect with other people who like similar things that they do.
Wow. Okay.
Interesting. So are the pools restricted to what you guys create then? Are you going to continue to release more pools down the road?
Yeah, so what we do is we have a page on the site where people can recommend or suggest pools they want. And once we see things that enough people want, we'll go and create the pools. And oftentimes the launch will be in line with another organization. So if we do a new tennis pool, for example, is there a big tennis blog or tennis magazine or tennis club that will get the word out to their members so they can start using it?
Right.
And so we control the release of the pools, but right now we're doing about 10 new pools a week.
Interesting. I have to tell you guys, that's a big vision you have here, man. How are you guys able to constrain it and make it really manageable? I mean, Meetup's doing pretty good job from what I'm gathering. Like, how are you guys different from them, and are you guys overlapping a little bit?
Yeah, so there's definitely a little overlap. Meetup's a great company. We love those guys. They've really become an event platform. So you go to Meetup to find out there's a soccer game on Saturday, a pickup basketball game on Sunday. What we're trying to do is be the social platform within that group. So who can you actually meet there so you know who's going to be there and who to connect with and all that kind of stuff. And so, right now we're working with companies like Meetup and other community sites just to figure out how we can help them achieve their mission. They can help us achieve ours.
Very cool.
But yeah, in terms of the growth, the interesting thing that we've noticed is we thought we were going to have to focus on a really intense local growth strategy. Yeah. And within the first week of getting some press, we were in 15 countries. And that's just grown month after month. Okay. So it's grown beyond our control, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
How are people sharing this? How is that growth happening organically, as you were speaking to?
So it's not always easy to track. We've got great press coverage. We've got some really good virality in terms of Facebook sharing and tweeting and all that. But then I think there's a lot of word of mouth. We're finding, I was skydiving last Saturday and I met someone who knew and was using At the Pool. And when I asked him how he found out about At the Pool, he mentioned that he moved from Dallas, Texas to Orange County, and someone that he met up with there that he was working with told him, you have to check it At the Pool, great place to meet new people. Mm-hmm. So it seems like people just want to tell their friends about it, which is awesome.
Okay, so obviously, and David, you can correct me, getting that tech press early on has been a big driver. Am I wrong, as far as business development?
No, it's been very helpful. Yeah, we saw a big boost in users once the press came out. Absolutely.
Awesome. What has been like the key getting the press? Is it just landing a couple of big, like a TechCrunch, and then the rest of them follow? What's your feeling? And if you can talk a little bit closer to the computer because you're a little bit low.
Oh, sure. So the reality.
Whoa, did we lose him?
I think you might have had him just knock out the internet cable.
Oh no. Okay, I'm gonna pause this. All right, sorry about that, Alex. Yeah, so tell us about what you guys have learned about the press and about the spike, and then obviously the decay, and how do you guys keep that audience growing and all that?
Yeah, so the press has been really interesting. The first thing that we learned was as soon as one person would write about us, everyone else would say it was old news. They didn't want to cover us.
Oh.
So one of the tricks was, if you're going to go out to TechCrunch and VentureBeat and Mashable and whoever, give them all the same embargo, give them all some notice ahead of time, because as soon as one releases, the rest of them feel like it's old news.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
So that was sort of a little surprise. But otherwise,
When you say old news, as soon as one guy breaks the startup, they don't really want to break it. Is that what I'm hearing?
yeah, I mean, it seems like if a story is covered by TechCrunch at 9 a.m., if anyone else covers that story at 10 o'clock, they're sort of following TechCrunch, and they don't want to do that.
Ah,
It's
wow.
very good to know. It's yeah, interesting way that they look at it.
And when you say like embargo, what do you mean? Like, do you want to get like 10 of these guys in and let them know, hey, this is what's going on. All you guys are being told the same thing at the same time. Who gets this first? Is that
Yeah, so the first thing is understanding that you're not going to have everyone cover you at the same time, unless you're, Facebook or Google. Not going to happen.
right?
That being said, you can get 2 or 3 people to cover you, but the way that it works is you need to tell them beforehand. We need you to hold the article until Monday at 9 a.m. If you're willing to do that, you're happy to write about it. But the problem is if someone says that and then they write about you on Sunday, you just screwed over all the rest of the press. So the embargo helps navigate that and just not piss off too many people.
Right. Right.
Gotcha.
Very cool. All right. So tell us about. Are you guys like seed funded? Is this all you guys bootstrapping this? Tell us about the money.
Yeah, so we're actually pretty fortunate. After the first press and some really good growth, managed to close some funding from Clearstone Venture Partners, Canyon Creek Capital, and a bunch of angels. So
Whoa.
yeah,
Dude, that's fucking great, man. Holy
you.
shit. You can go ahead and eat the rest of that pizza, man. You're off now, man. You're done.
now we're starting. This is the beginning.
That's fucking great. All right, so come on, give us the scoop here. What are we're talking? $1 million, 700,000. What are we looking at here?
And what was the goal of that funding? What is that going to get you?
So basically, we bought about 18 months of runway. In terms of the price, I think TechCrunch quoted us as raising 750. We raised around that number. I'm not going to say exactly what, but feel free to search the press. It's all out there.
Okay.
And yeah, basically the idea was we needed to get people on full time, pay some salaries, and
Awesome.
it's really tough to do without money. So
Right.
it's fortunate that we're at that point.
Wow.
Rent can't be cheap down there in Santa Monica.
No, it can't.
Well, actually, our rent is free because we're working out of our investor's office, so they don't charge us.
Very cool. And of course, they
Very
keep
nice.
tabs on you guys.
It seems like that, but I
Yeah.
think we're keeping tabs on each other.
Is that right? All right, that's cool.
Very nice.
That's great. That's really great. That's great.
Are there advantages, would you say, to being centrally located down there in Santa Monica, or did you guys think about location much?
We went where the free office was, to be honest. That said, it's great being in Santa Monica. There are a ton of startups. I basically don't go out to meetings anymore. I make everyone come to us because we're in a VC's office, so it's a great place.
Yeah. So are you guys at Canyon Creek? Is that right?
No, we're at Clearstone.
Oh, Clearstone. Okay, gotcha. Wow, very cool, man. 18 months runway. Am I hearing that right?
Yep.
So
Right.
what are the main metrics then that you guys are looking at that you showed the VCs that showed your growth? Was it users? Was it time on the site? Is it their interaction with the daily emails? What are some of the primary metrics you guys are looking at for growth?
Great question.
So when we raised capital, it was a little bit of everything, and it's not about any certain numbers or points. It's about the trajectory. So we were growing at a pretty fast pace. We were expanding multiple countries, expanding by the user base. The messages that were being sent were going up. So across the board, the numbers were looking good. That being said, we also noticed that more and more of our users were coming on mobile, and our platform right now is entirely web-based. So right now, the full effort's building out native iPhone app and really getting mobile.
Why aren't you guys opting for a whole responsive HTML5, all that stuff?
I believe to get the best native functionality, you have to build native. And, we're customizing the app like you couldn't believe, trying to make it super efficient.
Okay.
And we just want to nail it on the iPhone to begin with.
So this is definitely an issue that Jeff and I talk about all the time, native or open web. Jeff, what do you say to that? They're not going...
Well, it's tough. So, let me ask, what's your strategy for like Android then? Are they just going to be left in the dust for a while, or are they using your responsive site?
So the reality is it's all using the same backend. And once the design is finalized, the front end on Android building out in Java is really not that tough. And so our feeling is if we can't get to a certain critical number of members on iPhone, it doesn't make sense to waste the time developing on Android. But if iPhone starts to take off, look at Instagram, look at any of the mobile apps.
Right.
Android's just a month away at any given point.
Mm-hmm.
It's been shown many times that on these social networks, photo sharing tends to be the big, bring them back and get them using it, and the big engagement point. Are you guys incorporating a lot of media sharing? Is that your big hook?
So I'm not going to go into specifics on the app yet. I just want to wait and sort of impress you guys.
Okay.
That being said, our thought is, if you look at social networks that were built for the web, the technologies they had lacked a camera, lacked GPS, they lacked a lot of the mobile functionality.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're basically saying, what if you built just for mobile? If you look at what you have, you've got a camera, you've got GPS, you've got SMS type interfacing, so quick, easy chat, real time.
Yeah.
All that stuff is going into the app just to make it a really great, mobile native experience.
Gotcha.
All right.
Wow, I have to. Go ahead, sorry, Jeff.
To continue on the product, I'm really interested in the daily introduction emails. Can you guys tell me how those have been received? Like how you're tracking them? Are they like how are people responding to the daily introductions?
Surprisingly good. I don't know if you guys know much about email marketing metrics.
Oh yes, we know a little bit. Yeah.
So we're seeing about 26% of our members coming back each day.
Wow.
Wow.
That's almost
that's
entirely-
fantastic. Yeah. Holy cow!
Through
Usually,
the email specifically, or just on the site as a whole?
So that's on the site as a whole. That being said,
Okay.
the majority of those are coming from email. It's the daily introductions that come in.
yeah,
And
pull them in, yeah.
And our approach is, let's say, Jeff, we want to introduce him to someone named Kevin. We're going to basically send an email to Jeff saying, Jeff, me, Kevin, here's why, you're both in LA, you're both doing stuff at startups, blah, 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 meet each other. We basically made an algorithm to do that automatically. And so we have a matching algorithm that's pretty smart, gets smarter over time. And so each day we're basically introducing you to someone new. And there's a curiosity factor. You want to click through and see who it is.
In that case, did Kevin get the same email about me? Is it reciprocal? 2 emails or?
As often as possible, but it doesn't always work out that way.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Why not? Why wouldn't it always work out that way? If I might ask.
Sure. Let's say David joins his site right now. So it's 1:30 in the afternoon. He needs a first match. So he's going to get introduced to someone that's a one-way match, and that causes a whole string of effects.
Okay. Wow,
Okay.
I have to tell you guys, this sounds like a pretty cool idea, especially with the whole daily emails and the matchmaking. One of the big problems is people get email fatigue. They get annoyed. Have you guys had that happen? And if so, how do you guys try to minimize that?
So it definitely seems too early to tell. That being said, after 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, we definitely see the email rates going down a little bit.
Okay.
And so at that point, it really becomes important to build a product and a feature set that really captures what the user wants. And what we're finding is daily introductions are useful and interesting to a certain extent.
Right.
People really find out the pool useful when they know they want to find someone to go surfing with, or someone to go biking with, or they're just trying to find things to do in their area.
Gotcha.
So once you learn that at the pool is a great place to meet new people, it becomes a little bit more of a destination.
Oh,
Gotcha.
very cool.
Are there any specific tools you're using to track the conversions and the retention?
Most of the analytics we just track ourselves, tracking clicks and open rates and time on site and all that. We do use Google Analytics, everyone else does. But outside of that, we tried using a couple prepackaged analytics tools, and they didn't really offer too much we couldn't build ourselves. And typically they charge more than we want to spend.
Right.
Gotcha.
We're cheap as hell here. We don't spend.
Very good. I like that. I like that a lot.
That's what we want to hear.
Yeah, David.
What
So
you
tell us
started to-
on your end, like what have you found? Any cool tools on your side that's been helping?
Yeah, we've been using SendGrid to send email blasts out to all the entire user base that we have, and it's really nice because we can see how many people are clicking exactly what specific links they're doing. Like the religious pools we released earlier this week. It's really nice to see how many people were clicking on the Judaism pool, the atheism pool, the Flying Spaghetti Monster pool, for example.
Okay.
And really being able to figure out which subject line, which headers are being the most effective, and we can set up a couple different emails to see really which one works the best. And so we're constantly taking in data and trying to figure out which
Very
promotion.
cool, man. This whole daily email is definitely your secret sauce.
Nice. So SendGrid is supporting you in that massive emailing effort that you guys are doing. It offers all those features and at a decent price for a startup.
So we actually are just paying their standard pricing, because once we run all the numbers, they give us something like, what is it, 1 million emails we can send each week or each month or something for a flat like $200, $300 fee.
Okay.
At the end of the day, it's not a big burn.
Right.
And it's totally worth it.
Yeah. Wow. What else have you found, David, on your end with the email churn and all that?
What do you mean for For example,
Like,
anything specific?
what kind of things have you done to modify the actual cold email, the template itself, that kind of thing?
Yeah,
Um,
so we've messed around a lot with different banners that we use and pictures. Again, like you said, people are people are easily influenced by different pictures. So we're trying to make that really visual and aesthetically pleasing.
okay.
Messing with the subject line has really been interesting to see. Sometimes
All right.
people don't.
Let's
They
hear
don't.
let's hear some of these experiments. So, what kind of cool subject lines should we be using?
Well, one of them in particular, if I can cut you off,
Yeah, yeah.
it was kind of fun. So we do events all the time. We'll host,
Okay.
a hiking event in LA that we'll blast out to everyone in the hiking pool.
Right.
And what we did was, instead of sending it from at the pool and making it sort of corporate,
Yeah.
we sent it from my name, and the email basically reads that the subject line was all lowercase. What are you up to on Friday? It was, hey, do you want to join a couple of us on Friday? We're
Very
going on.
nice. Make it feel real personal.
Yep, and it's amazing how many people respond to those emails.
Yeah.
I love it. So keep it really informal. That's the trick. Is pretend like you're talking to your best buddy. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Yep, that's what's working for us.
Wow. And does that also include the email design? Should we not make it look all corporate and make it look like a newsletter? Make it look really informal?
It depends on the email, but for an event, absolutely. We're just making it plain text, super simple, looks
Wow.
trustworthy.
We had this guy on.
Hang out with, literally, just meet up with one of your buddies after work and go to an event and have a good time.
Gotcha. We had this guy on, and he told us back in the day that ugly banners worked, and it's simply because people just aren't used to it, or it doesn't look all corporate. It doesn't look like a designer, polish, and all that, and it makes it feel more real and authentic.
Do you want to hear something funny?
Let's hear it.
So we sent an email out on Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
just happy Thanksgiving and whatever else was going on. Well, a week later, maybe 2 weeks later, I sent an email out to the entire user base. This was in December,
Okay.
and I forgot to change the subject line. It was a really dumb mistake.
Okay.
So the subject line was Happy Thanksgiving, second week in December.
That's awesome.
And the reality is we had a much higher open rate and click-through rate. So it not only got more attention, but people actually clicked through.
That's hilarious. Even though it was completely false. I mean, it's the wrong date.
Yeah, and people were writing back, correcting me, but they would email me back to correct me, and then I would ask, by the way, did you actually click the link? Yes, they did.
Wow.
Mhm.
Holy cow, man.
Really interesting. Sometimes getting people engaged is, a trick.
Yeah, it really is. Wow. So, all right. So, what other have you found? Any other tools besides SendGrid that's helped out, David?
We're not using too many stock, software tools right now. We tried MailChimp for a while, but honestly, MailChimp is a lot more expensive than SendGrid, and doesn't really offer too much more that we wanted.
How about like any autoresponder sequences? Do you guys have like a onboarding, like 2 or 3 email next 3 or 4 weeks separated, that kind of thing?
We have a lot of stuff like that built into the site where we roll our own scripts, but we're not using any off-the-shelf software. We looked into doing like an auto retweet message, or whenever people follow us, sending stuff out.
Yeah.
But we never implemented it because it just sounded spammy.
Okay. I have to tell you, man. Since you guys have all these responder sequences built in, that's definitely a big part of keeping your startup alive. I'm really glad you guys are doing this. It sounds to me like you guys are really sharp when it comes to email marketing, man. You guys have.
Let me ask about the testing again real quick. Are you testing it through iterations, like just over time, or are you actually doing any split testing with the SendGrid?
We split test almost every email that goes out.
How does that look for those of us that don't have a sizable enough audience to do great split tests? Like how many splits do you do on one email?
It really depends what we're trying to test. Do you want to?
Yeah, for example, I mean, going back to those religious pools, like we did two splits, or one split, so it was 2 different emails. One was a more formal subject line, and the other was, what was the example? Was
God, Zeus. It was a Butthole Surfers lyric.
a butthole surfer. Yeah.
That's great.
So we were kind of messing with the different ideas of going very formal and the complete opposite of something you might say to your friend to grab some attention. Or we've also did it, for like an event we were doing, we sent out 4 different iterations of it. So that's messing with having maybe the banner at the top, the banner at the bottom, heavy on the pictures, less heavy on the pictures, and again switching up the subject lines to make sure that there's only one variable change for each iteration that we do. So we're trying to constantly take in new data so we can make our email marketing more efficient.
Right.
So then, what do you do with that data? So you run the test, you find out like which of those splits was the most successful, or what do you do from there?
Right. So typically what you do is you'll A/B test on 50% of the group, run the test and see if one of them is clearly better than the other. If it
Okay.
is, you send that one to the other 50% of the emails.
Gotcha.
But we also try and just learn, if something's working for subject lines or photos or headlines or whatever, just carry that through with the future emails. That we
Yeah,
get.
exactly.
Right.
You guys are just learning over time, with your own iterations at the startup, totally. But yeah, so it's interesting. So you actually save half of the emails to be sent once you know which one's optimized.
Right. Right. I have to tell you guys, man, you guys are like I'd have to say almost 80% email marketing geniuses and then maybe 20% product genius. Because it sounds like you guys got this email thing. That is one of the big areas I talk to Jeff all the time about where I think startups are really missing the boat. And you guys have got that, and you're on it, so it's awesome.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah. If you guys have a native app, I assume you're going to carry all this over to maybe notifications, that kind of thing.
We're going to experiment between push notifications and emails.
Yeah.
I still find emails, got some more weight over push notifications, but we're going to try
agree.
both.
I agree.
Okay.
Wow. Is there any way you could use screen sharing and show us a little bit about a little bit of the product? Maybe give us a little back, show us what it's like on the inside.
We can show you the website. We're not going to go into the app today, but we can go into the website.
Sure.
Oh yeah, no,
Actually,
that's
I
pretty
see
great.
that you have a screen open already with the.
Yeah, we just have one open here in case there's anything we wanted to show, but I hadn't logged in yet.
Why don't we have you guys sign up on the spot? Let's
right,
have you go through the experience.
All right.
Let's do it.
Hopefully nothing bad happens.
Yeah.
Whoops. So can I join without Facebook, or is Facebook a requirement right now?
Right now for the web, we require Facebook. It's just so built into those introductions and the location and everything else.
Right.
Mhm.
Once we launch mobile, which is about 2 months out or so, that won't be a requirement anymore.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I've actually joined before the show today. Let me log in. Hopefully it's not
You just
stream.
click the little Facebook Connect button if you want to make it one click.
How have you? Are you guys getting a lot of sort of beyond, of course, the social sharing within your user base? Are you getting a lot of just new people coming at the pool from PPC, or are you guys doing any of that at all?
PBC. What is
Like
PBC?
pay per click, or are you guys doing any campaigns to try to drive traffic to it, or is it all just?
For the most part, the answer is no. That being said, David just ran some Facebook ads. I think today, just to experiment, just $10 on just to see what works.
Right.
But we haven't really been running any ads yet. We're just trying to experiment a little bit.
Gotcha. All right. Cool. Yeah. So we're in now,
Yeah, so I got the site pulled up.
and you guys got a little wizard for completing. That's cool.
Yeah. Are you able to make this full screen or?
Yeah. If you click on the thumbnail, it should pull it up in the center.
Yeah. Exactly. If you just click on the thumbnail on your side.
So yeah, if just walk through it really quick. On the left, actually on the very top, you'll see Bill is going to be your match of the day, the person you're being introduced to.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so click on that there, you'll see there's probably someone nearby wherever it is that you're located. Got a bunch of pools and commons, my guess. So Huntington Beach, where are you located again?
I'm in San Diego, so a little bit ways up the coast, but
Okay.
still
And
in Southern California.
I guess you're probably both in the entrepreneurship pool.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I guess he's an engineer. Put some answers down. If you don't answer your own Q&A, you can't see someone else's, so you've got to go in and answer your own before we're going to show you theirs.
Okay.
Just to
Very cool.
Gotcha.
That's good. And when you say answer, how many Q&As do we got? We got about 10 here.
either 8 or 10. It's been
Okay.
a little while since we changed.
All right. There's always that big, huge fall off in terms of like the number of questions and the number of people willing to answer. So, you guys found 8 to 10 to be an okay
Yeah,
amount.
if you click on the left on the little My Profile button, the bottom left of the page,
Mhm.
something that we noticed was we put a little progress bar for how complete your profile is
Mhm.
over there on the right.
Yep.
And more than 25% of our members are 100% complete. And I think it's just they want to get to 100, so they answer all the questions, fill everything out.
Okay.
And something like 95% or 90% of our members are over 75% complete.
Oh.
So I think People just really like to fill stuff out.
Wow.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. Well, they like to fill stuff out on your site, but that's not the case everywhere. So that's good.
Yeah, so you get a pretty good kickstart from Facebook, I'm assuming, right? When I joined, I had joined prior, and I think I might have added a little bit of info. But you pull out, like, are you assuming pools based on my Facebook interests?
We actually don't assume pools. We found
Okay.
Facebook likes are just arbitrary and usually not very valuable. But if
Mhm.
you scroll down, you'll notice we pull your work, your school, a little of your location, relationship status, then your favorite music, books, and movies. If you have a Facebook quote. So we auto pull a bunch of that. We also pull your social data. So we know mutual friends, photos, all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Okay, great.
This is great. Yeah, yeah. Tell me more about how you pair people up again. So, what are the key filters? Obviously, your interest is a key filter. Location is one. What are the others? Are there any other heavily weighted ones?
Yeah, so we have about 30 different elements that go into the algorithm, but the biggest ones are, are they nearby and do they want to do the things you want to do? So pools and location really trump everything else.
Okay.
After that, it's going to be mutual friends, other Facebook intros, and interest data. We do look a little bit at what genders do you interact with mostly on the site.
Okay.
So if someone's looking to meet other entrepreneurs and they're interacting mostly with males, you'll probably get more males, and if you're looking to use it more in a dating capacity, you'll probably get more females.
So how do you? And so you're basically tracking what time on profile if when I'm just browsing around. Or how do you determine that?
Yeah, but also who are you actually sending messages to and who are you responding to?
Okay.
Gotcha. Who are you
I
interacting
see.
with on the site?
For example, if you click on the left red tab over there, it says messages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You'll notice that you've got a couple unread messages and then a couple read. And so we're actually looking at, are there people that you'll view the profile but not respond to, people that you do respond to and they don't respond back? Like, we want to understand what are the people that are really good fits for you.
Right.
Gotcha.
Wow. Well, I have to tell you, this is a pretty extensive site. Like, how long have you been working on this? Like, how many months? How many years? This feels like a lot of work here, man.
Yeah. God, we worked on this for about 3 or 4 months before the initial launch, and then constant updates. Probably there's a point when we're pushing updates every day, little fixes here and there. But at this point, we basically got the site to a pretty steady state to focus 100% on mobile.
Okay.
So this has been, up and running, without a lot of big changes for a little while.
So,
But we had
so
a,
what do you say about a year's worth of work here? We're looking at here.
I mean, if we were to say how much time from start to finish, if we just sat down and built this, probably 6 months.
Wow. Okay. Well, yeah, it's pretty impressive so far, man. This is really great.
Yeah, you guys have a beautiful front end design. The HTML, CSS layer of it is quite unique from a lot of other sites on the internet. I have to give that to you guys. You come to the site and it doesn't look like a lot of the other social networks and things that you bump into. I think the design really takes it a long way.
Thank you. Really appreciate that. I mean, we believe that design is such a big, part of this in terms of getting an emotional response and making an environment that people want to, spend time at. You want to hang out at the pool.
Absolutely.
Make the pool kind of cool.
Absolutely. So tell me, have you guys had any issues keeping up with Facebook's updates and their, the back end, the API, and all that? Have there been any technical issues with that?
There are always little technical issues. I wouldn't say keeping up with Facebook's been tough, but I'd say the biggest technical problem has been balancing the web versus mobile interface.
Right.
Because a lot of what we built here is fairly complicated, works great on mobile, or works great on the web, but then doesn't transfer that well on mobile.
Okay.
Also, cross-browser compatibility is always a problem.
Right.
So it's great on Chrome, it's okay in Safari, it's a little bit worse in Firefox.
Okay.
And, old versions of IE, forget about it, it's just not going to work.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. So, yeah. So when we, what's our ETA looking like for this mobile?
We'll definitely have it out in the marketplace by September 1st. We're hoping maybe even sooner.
Okay. Are you building an in-house, larger team there? Are you outsourcing some of this, or?
We don't outsource anything. We believe in doing everything in-house, but we're keeping the team we've got. So
Very
Alexis, who built a lot of the website here,
Okay.
basically overnight became an iPhone developer expert. So,
Wow.
Very cool.
and he's building stuff that I would say rivals what Path does. I mean, really awesome front-end stuff.
Really? Wow. Can't wait to check it out, man. I have to tell you, man, sounds like you got the social networking thing plugged in. How many members you got so far? What are we looking at numbers-wise?
So We're growing about 40% month over month. We're up to 98 countries as of today. But member counts we're not divulging quite yet.
Okay. All right.
And on the social network strategy, are you guys looking at connecting with anything else outside of Facebook? Am I ever going to be able to join at the pool without Facebook?
Absolutely. So the mobile site's going to be built specifically so you don't need to rely on any other network. We really want to create a platform. And you can't create a platform if you need to sit on top of someone else.
Absolutely. Yeah. Very cool. Well, obviously, Facebook does expose the email if you set it up in that manner. So I'm assuming you're building your own your email database and all that stuff. So
we are.
How is this working with Twitter? Are you guys doing anything with Twitter?
Right now, we don't do anything with Twitter, and the reality is the profiles are fairly weak. And in terms of being introduced through mutual friends because you both follow the same person, it's kind of weak. You know, we all follow TechCrunch or Oprah or whatever it is we follow.
Yeah.
And so we're not doing a lot with Twitter now. That being said, with mobile, there's going to be some really interesting components to basically push what you're posting to Facebook and to Twitter, and so we'll have a little integration then.
Gotcha. Any thoughts about Google Plus and what they're doing?
You know, the answer is no. When we do think about it right away, just the idea goes away. We get almost no data from Facebook or from Google Plus,
Google, yeah.
Unless the person works at Google, which then it's great.
Yeah. Well, I have to tell you, man, it's looking really great, man. I'm very impressed.
Yeah,
the product is very nice. We're looking forward to seeing that mobile app in our
right.
hands. Anything come out of the announcement at the WWDC or anything from Apple or Google recently that has made you guys think or scratch your heads, or any new technologies you got to jump on from the announcements recently?
That's a great question.
You know, there weren't a lot of technologies. We're really big fans of the design sort of movement that everything's going. You know, it's getting a little simpler, a little flatter. And if anything, I think it really fits. If you look at the design now, we're all about very simple, very designed, sort of flat, minimal type stuff.
Right.
So I feel like the app is actually going to fit very well with iOS 7. That being said, really aren't changing course or building anything special around what's being pushed, just because it is very similar in terms of what the technology offers.
Gotcha. You know, I've often felt that, at least for me on LinkedIn, even Twitter, less on Facebook, but there'd be so many connections I'd be making, and I'd connect with them and then maybe send an email once, and then that's it. You never hear from them again. And it sounds like you guys are going to try to solve that deeper engagement with acquaintances that you connect with online problem. Which is a huge problem, guys. It's a massive problem. If you guys can make a dent in that, your investors are going to be very happy, and you guys will be, I imagine, growing this into a much larger company and bigger office space next time we talk to you.
Yeah, I mean, the goal is just really to try to help create a better infrastructure offline where you feel like you can connect with people, meet people, and really leverage your network. So we're excited about going mobile and just keeping things going.
Hey, so let me ask you something. So you pair people up. What have you guys been finding? I mean, is it 1 out of 5 actually end up meeting up? 1 out of 5 actually engaged? Like 1 out of 10? What are those numbers looking like?
So on average, we'll have about 1 in 4 go and visit the site each day, and about 15% total each day will then initiate a message.
Wow.
And so it's a pretty good conversion. That being said, it's really tough to know how many people are actually meeting up offline, because like a typical dating website, we basically let you chat, figure it out that way, but we don't really control the process.
Right.
On mobile, it's going to be slightly different, which we're pretty excited about.
Gotcha.
Okay, you'll be able to control the experience a little bit more.
Yeah, just make it a little bit easier for you to be able to ping someone, connect with them, and for us to track the whole process.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Tell us about the monetization options. I mean, I didn't see a lot of ads. I didn't see any ads. How are you guys making money?
Right now, we're not making money. We're just focused on engagement and growth.
Wait, hold on a second. So right now, you guys are focused on engagement and growth. So there's, we've all seen the social network. You guys want to try to keep it cool, right? Is that the thing right now?
So we really look at what we're doing and mirror it against what Google did. Google was getting 1 billion page views a day before they monetized, and at that point they realized people are searching for flights and products and all that kind of stuff. Let's monetize that. Right. With us, we know where you are and we know what you're looking for. So in terms of monetizing local opportunities and offerings, it's a great value add for our users. So the idea is we're going to monetize as we hit critical scale in a way that won't piss off our users.
Okay, so give me a for instance. Give me an example what you're envisioning.
Sure. So we have thousands of people in the cycling pool. We know who in Santa Monica is into cycling, so we can let a bike shop offer a discount at their shop.
Okay.
We can offer different promotions around events coming up, all sorts of things that are relevant to cyclists. Where the reality is on Facebook and Google and any other ad platform, you don't really know who are the vegans, who's into yoga, who's into surfing, and where they are. And that combination is really valuable, but you need scale.
Wow. Okay. Well, so I know you guys got a decent runway. Are you thinking maybe in about a year you might start looking at trying to make some money off of this, or what are you thinking?
It's not so much a timing issue. It's more a matter of as we hit certain scales. So when we launched our mobile site, we're already playing around with launching private pools. So pools basically any group of people that have a reason to connect. So pools around conferences, companies, events, all sorts of organizations.
Wow. That's a good idea.
So monetizing that's a possibility. And then going into local shops and whatnot and asking them, do you want access to 5,000 local runners? If there's a running shop that's interested, let's figure out ways to experiment with that. The reality, though, is we're 4 people, small team, and any time focused on monetizing is time not focused on building the product. So it's really about getting the product to the point that we really think it's settled.
I have to tell you, Alex, I talked to a lot of guys in startups, and a lot of them struggle getting money. And you guys are funded. You've got a great product. How did you do this, man? What's your secret sauce?
I wouldn't say there's any one trick other than we're building a product about building networks and meeting people, and that's what we do. And so, we know a lot of great people. We've been, hustling for a long time. We operated the company for the first 12 months with pretty much no cash. And then we showed, look, with no money, we got a great product up and out. We got some great press. We got into 15 countries. The runway was looking really good in terms of the growth and everything else.
Right.
And so for fundraising, it's really all about proving what you can do, connecting those dots and then saying, here's a forecast moving forward. We believe that this is going to happen. You can trust us based on what we've already done. Gotcha.
Did you leverage angel lists at all, or was this all just connections that you made out and about in LA, or?
Yeah, did not touch angel lists. We tried early on just making a profile, and to me it just seemed kind of stupid, to be honest.
Whoa. Jeff and I talk about this all the time.
Well,
a lot of people are big fans of
more data points. Yeah.
A lot of bigs are big fans of angel lists, man. I'm surprised to hear this from you.
All right, so 2 of our investors. So one of them, I was at a conference. I literally was at this conference for no more than 15 minutes. I walked from the office, dropped in for a few minutes, and walked back. In those 15 minutes, I met up with one of our advisors. He introduced me to a VC up north who was down for the event. The guy said, count me in for 25. Before I left, he said, actually double it to 50. And then he sent me an email during South by saying, actually, let's do 100. So, that was one case. Another case was a good friend who I do a lot of work with. He's got a great startup here in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
He reached out to one of his investors and said, you guys have to meet Alex. You have to look at what they're doing without the pool. It's great stuff.
Right.
I drove down, met with these guys. We were there for maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah.
What's the story? Who are we? Great. Count us in for 100. That was that. I mean, it's really about the people the trust you built, and being able to show that you can execute.
Yeah,
a lot of startups have ideas, but when you show a product and traction, the rest really gets simplified.
Give me a little bit about your background, man. Where did you go to school? What did you study?
I'm kind of a hardcore engineer by trade. I guess the background bullet points in a nutshell. I grew up upstate New York, dropped out of high school, moved down to D.C. and worked for the government doing chemistry, physics, and nanotech stuff.
Oh.
Went to UCLA, worked on biotech and aerospace companies. I was with an electric car company before launching at the pool. And I'm a really bad engineer in terms of being the best in my field, but I'm good at knowing what's capable and how to work with really smart people. So
Wow.
Just managed to get some really awesome people to come in and really do all the work while I just kind of sit back and eat my pizza.
You hear that, David? Stop doing all the work, man. Well, so what is this thing built on? Are you guys using Rails, Node? Tell us about the tech back end here.
No, so it's a Python backend using Django on the front end. I guess not really the front end, but the front end of the back end. PostgreSQL database, and everything's using the Rackspace cloud. So it's all pretty streamlined, extremely inexpensive, and pretty scalable, which is great.
Right. Is there a specific piece of startup infrastructure that is either too expensive or missing, in your opinion, that needs to come out in the marketplace that'll help guys such as yourselves?
That's a good question. The reality is we operated the first year for almost no cash, and it really didn't cost us much money at all. Amazon's got a suite of software packages that will handle your emails and handle your software or your server loading and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Analytics are all super easy. Google Analytics is free. I actually don't. I don't know something big and glaring that was missing, but I also come from the approach of if we want something, we can probably build it better than any third-party platform is going to make for us.
Okay.
So just build what we need, do it ourselves.
Right. It's not even a question of that you can probably build it. You probably could build it better, but sometimes speed is a big issue, right? So we had this guy on a few weeks ago that's doing like drip emails for startups where you can set up a bunch of events within your application and it sends out autoresponder sequences. And yeah, you guys can do this yourselves, obviously, but sometimes just plugging into somebody else's service can get you quicker to market.
While that is true, I'm not a huge fan of that. I mean, our sort of internal philosophy from an engineering standpoint is avoiding a lot of these kits, a lot of these packages. I mean, a lot of these JavaScript packages and whatnot that, all look the same, they feel the same, they're quick to plug in. Yeah. I just find they end up making websites that look the same and they end up being inefficient.
Okay.
So, it's all about the philosophy that you have as a company. But, if you have a tech team,
yeah,
I recommend not going that route.
Right. No, this is very engineering oriented, like build it ourselves. Yeah, I get it. That's cool. Jeff, do you want to add anything on the tech side?
No, it's great to hear that you guys are using, Python and the Rackspace. Those are, two tools that aren't, as popular, but are right in the same vein of all the open source tools that we use. I'm on Amazon, but Rackspace is looking pretty good with the open stack and everything. So it's nice to hear that you guys are trying them out.
When we were getting started, every company that was hosted on Amazon, including Quora and I don't remember who, a bunch of bigger companies, were going down. Amazon was having problems, and at the time, Rackspace's downtime was almost nothing. So we went on Rackspace, and we've had no downtime. It's been awesome.
Okay.
Great.
Wow, very cool. So, all right, so we got a roadmap here. We've got the mobile roadmap. We've had several startups come on and talk about mobile ads, figuring out new ways of monetizing mobile, new ways of engaging with mobile apps. What are your thoughts with that?
Again, once we have millions of people in each area that we want to focus on, we can push ads no problem. We don't want to make an experience that's going to hurt the user. So doing ads, it will have to be very much like what Google does, where if I search, yachts, I'm going to find ads about buying yachts or whatever. It needs to be a result of what the person cares about. We can turn that on at any point, but until we have the right scale, it just doesn't matter.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Why? I'm going to move into the product again really quick. Why did you guys go after the whole religious bit? Like, are you guys just looking for common things everybody could share and then dividing that up? Is that your sort of formula here?
So we've already got about 250 pools, and they range from everything, including extreme sports and downhill skiing to shopping and yoga and you name it. But we never had religious pools, and it was something that a lot of our members were requesting and asking.
Okay. And
once you run the numbers, you realize something like a third to half of the population of the entire planet, are following a certain faith, and those, religions basically fall under one of 5 or 6 categories. So maybe 10, gets 80% of the members.
Okay.
And so for us, the thought was, if we launch a pool around Judaism and we can go to temples and go to these Jewish organizations,
right.
Even look at some dating sites like JDate that clearly focus on that demographic and grow.
Gotcha.
The thought was, there's a reason people want to connect around it. Let's make it easy.
Gotcha.
So religious pools were Monday. We're probably going to do music pools next week, just to
Okay.
do a whole launch of all types of music.
Oh, very cool, very cool. So David, what are your thoughts with the music part? Give us your feedback.
Well, I went to school out in Colorado, and I know there's a huge music scene out there, and it's around the world, the country in general. Everyone listens to music. But I think that's another great point that we can hit is it's another way for people to connect easily based off their common interests. Like if you're going out and you find someone that likes hip-hop music and you're really into hip-hop music as well, you're going to have an easier way to break the ice into that conversation because you both have a common talking point when you first start speaking.
Absolutely.
So we think music's a great one. Like Alex said, the religion was a great one.
Sports.
Looking at sports, yeah, we're thinking about getting into sports teams down the road too, but there's so many of them.
Right.
But we definitely want to keep making pools, 10 pools a week, just to keep users excited about new opportunities.
Wow. Do you guys have like a leaderboard of pool requests and maybe picking out of that?
We do. So we have an open sort of Google Doc where everything that gets requested goes into, and then we try to balance it out. And, a lot of users are requesting the same thing, so it makes it easier to just pick the ones that are hot.
I have to tell you, man, just sitting here listening to you, Alex, it seems like you guys can't do any wrong, man. I mean, you guys are kicking ass.
Thank you.
What?
We're trying.
Tell me about some of your early fuck-ups, your early stumbles. Where did you go wrong? Let's hear some of that.
In the beginning, we tried fundraising before we really focused on the product.
Okay.
And unless you've got a background of exiting, large companies,
Right.
I don't think it's a great path.
Yeah, yeah.
So we decided, look, we're going to eat ramen and, basically live on couches and not worry about that for a while.
Very nice.
And just focusing on the product was, the right path for us.
And when you say focusing on product, you mean getting users engaged, getting them on, getting them come back, showing that trajectory?
So most of that will happen if you build a kick-ass product. The fact is, I don't think enough people focus on what is your product, let's design it really well, let's build it really well, and then obviously have some kind of launch strategy, but if the product's not great, it's not going to grow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Focus on the product and focus on just executing and building and getting it out there.
Give us some of the early mistakes in the product development. What are the things that you thought were going to be awesome and nobody really liked it?
Well, right now you guys are looking at the share page, and this is sort of a love-hate in that some of our users go crazy at this. We actually give away an iPad mini if you invite and convert 500 friends.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I see that.
And we've had a number of people win it, which has been awesome.
Okay.
But at the same time, maybe, 80% of our members don't use this page at all. It just doesn't interest them. Maybe the value proposition's wrong, maybe the messaging's wrong, maybe they don't know it exists. And so, there's a balance between letting people know what the reward system is and also getting them to do it. But for people who do, get into this, it's a great way to grow the site.
Okay, so what you're saying is you thought this would be a lot more popular, but it has not.
I'm saying it works really well with a very small percentage of our users.
And what would you? How would you even poll a bunch more of your users? Have you guys considered polling the subset of people that aren't using it and asking them straight up? Be like, hey, why aren't you guys using this prize thing?
So we do a lot of engagement with our members, but there's sort of a fine line between how much we're, coming in and sort of asking them questions that will make them uncomfortable. If they're not doing something, they're not doing something. Like,
right, yeah.
If I go to a restaurant, I don't want the owner walking up and saying, "Why are you doing this?"
Right, yeah. It's a good point.
Want it?
Right, yeah, it's a good point. And a lot of people will also blow smoke up your ass. Oh, I didn't see it. Oh, I'm gonna go home and try it later on, and then never do.
We like to watch what happens as opposed to necessarily ask our users.
What does your gut tell you, man? You're a smart guy. You think it's the messaging? You think people think it's a little cheesy, trying to win an iPad to sell all my friends to you? What do you think it is?
So it's more than the individual feature. It's sort of why are they on at the pool? People are here to meet new people, so inviting their friends is a little disconnected. And so part of what we're doing at the mobile site is actually making the value proposition for the entire product a lot more clear around why your friends should be there, why you should invite them, and why you'll get a lot more out of that. So it's really rethinking the product, not the feature.
Wow.
Interesting.
That's a really good point.
Conceptual point of view.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Well, I can't tell you. I can tell you this has been a really great interview. I'm really glad we reconnected. I wasn't sure if we'd get you guys on, but this turned out to be really great.
We're happy to do it.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, so is there anything you guys are looking for or need? Are you guys hiring?
So at this point, join at the pool, tell your friends about at the pool, send us feedback on what you'd like to see. That's really the big stuff. In terms of hiring, we're always kind of hiring, but at the same time, we have a lot more inbound requests than we can fill. So, we're trying to keep things just really lean and really tight.
So you're saying
keep working on that product.
You're getting a lot of candidates. A lot of startups are always having a hard time finding good people.
I think when you build a good product, that changes.
Ah.
Facebook is having that problem.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Very good point. All right, cool. Well, we definitely would like to follow up with you guys in a few months, see how you guys are doing.
Sounds great.
Is there any other startups in Santa Monica we should be talking to? Anybody you recommend?
Yeah, let's talk offline just because I have to think about it a little bit. But there are
Okay.
a ton of great companies here.
Awesome. All right,
Yeah,
definitely we'll do
awesome.
that. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming on again. I really appreciate your time, David
Yeah,
and
thanks a lot.
Alex.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate your time. We learned a lot of things here today. It's
Yeah,
great.
absolutely. Yeah, no, we're
Excellent.
definitely excited to see more of your this mobile app coming out, and we'll definitely be in touch soon.
Sounds great. Thanks so
Great.
much, guys.
Thanks, guys.